Paddy Barnes,
Yeah,
welcome to the Modern Warrior podcast.
thanks for having me on your show.
Very welcome, man. It's an honor to have you here. And it is called the Modern Warrior podcast. And we have a warrior here in front of us today. A man who's been through many fucking battles in your life.
Too many.
and still going through them. Yeah.
Still gorgeous, what I mean.
yeah. You and me both.
Oh.
And obviously, most of us know you, Paddy, through your successes in boxing. And we know this side of you very well. And I'm also interested in the man behind the boxing. I'm always interested in the story behind the successes and the wins, the losses, and the lessons you've cultivated over the years. And also your past in terms of, if you look back and identify some of the influences in your childhood that perhaps cultivated and created you as the man you are today, and obviously had a huge impact in the successes that you achieved through your Olympics and through the boxing, through the European titles, the Commonwealth Games, and still the only Irish person to win 2 consecutive medals. And
No. I was, Pat O'Callaghan, apparently, not apparently he did win, but I don't know if for Ireland, but he still won 2
yes,
medals. That's the first ever boxer to win
You're the first ever
consecutive.
boxer.
But then now we have Kelly Harnden, who won 2 golds,
Yes, okay.
which is amazing.
Yeah, took that crown from you.
Still the only male boxer, but
There you go. All right, hold on to that. So yeah, going back to, if you were to kind of sit here and reflect back on your past, what would have been some of those early life influences that you believe inspired you to take this path of boxing, of taking on the fight ultimately in your life?
to be honest, like, everyone always asks me why I get into boxing, and like, I sort of fell into it accidentally. I remember playing football on the street one day, and it was raining, and a friend of mine called Ed Graham, he used to box club with his brother. He said, "Come on down, sure, it's licensed." I said, "What? I'll go down." That was on a Wednesday. I trained for about an hour, and I got for the fight that Sunday. I took it, and I lost. I actually lost a fellow who I'm friends with to this day, actually.
Yeah.
We are called Ian Finnegan from West Belfast. But at that time, every weekend, I'm from Belfast, but every weekend I would have went down to a facing village in County Down called Arglass to stay with my cousins, and my uncle Jim had a boxing club, and my cousins boxed for him. I thought, geez, I'm down here every weekend anyway, so I might as well train. And then I joined that club.
Yeah.
So I joined a club called East Coast. It's a big place called Ballyhornan. And really, I only boxed to fit in. Like, I didn't have no passion in boxing, no heroes in boxing or any sport. I just boxed to fit in with my cousins and to be down there. And I was training every week. I hated it. It was so tough. And like, looking back, it's probably the easiest training I've ever done. But for me, an 11-year-old kid, small, skinny, still small, not skinny, but it was so tough. And like, I used to spar my cousin Francis, and he did go hard me, but I was crying, tears in my eyes every weekend. But I wasn't like garning. It was water in my eyes. I used to tell my uncle, "You okay?" He goes, "Oh, I've hay fever." I hated it. And like, anyway, I think that's where my kind of toughness came from, because taking those beatings, like, they weren't even beatings, but like, I thought they're hard spars. Like, that kind of like toughened me up. And, I still fought on. I had a good fight. Like, it was the first 12 fights I had, I didn't win. Now, I wasn't bothered. There were close fights. Could have went either way, and I fought a few I should have won. But I just kept going because, at that stage, I just didn't know how to win. Like, how do you win a fight? Like, I can beat it hard, but I just want to know how it can be done. And I remember, like, there were 3 1-minute rounds or 3 2-minute rounds, and like, it seemed like an eternity. Like, I need to fight for about a half an hour to get a win. How am I going to do this here? But anyway, I remember fighting in the Armagh Down Championships, got a straight final a guy from Tyrone, and I won. I'm not joking you. It was like I won the lottery. The feeling was just unbelievable. And
This was fight number 13.
this is fight number 13.
After
13 might be
12,
an
after
lucky number 2, you know.
yeah, there you go.
Um,
After 12 straight losses.
12 straight losses. And you know what? I must be about 11 or no, I must be about 12 or 13 years old. And that feeling, like I can't describe it. It's just like if you ask anyone, like I don't know about our sports, but anyone in boxing, if they want to fight, what that feeling's like, they might be able to describe it to you. Because obviously you're so much adrenaline pumping through your body, your nerves beforehand, but like it's such a release and like it's a euphoric feeling. But anyway, after that there, I just like, you know what? That was amazing. So I trained even harder. And I did train hard, but I dedicated myself a bit more. So obviously I was only training at the weekends. I wasn't good enough. So I had to move about clubs in Belfast. They allowed me to train at different clubs in Belfast and let me fight for my uncle. So I trained a bit harder, a bit more. I dedicated myself a bit more.
So you're still with the same club, but
Still the same club, but the club was there
Fi-
would let me play into the crack. They let
train
me
off different clubs.
train
Yeah.
there.
Was it? Do you believe that victory instilled a new sense of belief in you, where you thought, okay, actually, I can fucking do this now, and that inspired you to push even harder?
You could argue that there, but the way I describe it is like, so what I talk about later on is like, I have this personality. If I have a feeling, I want more of it. So I kind of take the personality. So that feeling of winning, it's like I need that feeling again.
Okay.
So I trained harder and I dedicated myself more because I need that feeling again. And I kept winning, and like I became like so used to it, and that feeling was unbelievable. So for me, it wasn't about winning; it's about that feeling of like just being victorious over someone.
How did it go then from that first victory at fight number 13 to the next few fights coming up? But did you
So
win,
I've had like
win
maybe
everyone?
I've had maybe like 3 and 50 amateur fights. That feeling stays the same the whole time. Like it didn't change. It doesn't get any less. It was just, it's too hard to describe. It's just unbelievable. And like, as I get older, it was bigger fight to stake. You had the Irish Championships not there, and even competing in Dublin. My dream, like before the Olympics and whatever, was just to compete in Dublin in a national stadium. For me to do that there, I need to win the Continental Championships. And there's a boxer called Carl Frampton who would always beat me, and I couldn't get down. And one year he made up weight, and I beat Hoover was there anyway, and I got down. I lost my first All Ireland semi-final, but just being a part of that there and fighting in that ring for me,
Dublin.
it was just brilliant. And after I see that there, I think, oh, I need to win better. I need to win the All Irelands. The year after I won, and from that victory, I think it was 16. It was 16. I won first All Ireland. After that there, won the 4 Nations Championships. So it was Ireland, England, Scotland, Wales, won that there, and just that was me pushed on and won everything after.
Yeah. What age were you when you won the
16.
All Ireland? 16.
16. So obviously that stays boxing for 5 years, and it took me 4 years to actually get to Dublin to really qualify. I compete in my local championships. So it's just goes to show, like, if kids are getting beat there and 11 years old, be like, oh, I give up. But then it took me 4 or 5 years to even qualify for Dublin, never mind winning All Ireland. So
was Carl always the one that was getting in the way?
Carl was, it was twice he got in the way. When it really mattered. They were close fights. I did beat him, but in the Northern Ireland Championships.
Was that the year you then went to the semis?
No.
So it was different.
Yeah,
time?
different.
Yeah.
Because I think he beat me after again. He beat me after to qualify again. And he went down, but he wasn't winning the All Ireland. He's getting beat by one of the Joyces, who were unbelievable. And even at that age, like, these Joyces were unbelievable. And like, this guy, David Oliver Joyce, same age as me, he was my favourite boxer.
Yeah.
He was so good. And thankfully, if I had fought him back then, I probably would have quit boxing. He'd have killed me. Too strong, just too much for me.
Okay.
But Carl Frampton gave me a good fight,
Yeah.
And Carl Frampton actually beat him before as well.
Yeah.
But they were days, like, you know, just if, and like even to give a message to someone, like come back to, like, you know, if you're losing at something, like it took me 5 years, 4 or 5 years, even to break on to a national setup. It was tough,
Yeah.
but I got
And,
there.
and 12,
Persevered and got there.
12 defeats. I mean, what keeps you going after defeat number 10, where you go, fuck's sake, is this
You know what?
ever gonna?
Everyone else got there, but because I was getting battered, close fights, I thought I could have won a few.
You feel like you're always getting closer and closer.
Closer and closer.
To
And
victory.
I know I'm going to do this here. I know I'm going to do this here. And I got there.
Which is often the analogy, isn't it? Like every failure is a step closer to success.
If you're really, really adamant about something, 9 times out of 10, I feel you'll get it.
Yeah.
If you really want it. Sorry. If you really want it, you might get it. Because there's a difference between wanting and needing something. So if you want it, you might get it. But if you need it, you'll go to your way to get that there no matter what. It's like if you're thirsty, I don't want a drink. You're fucking dehydrated, you need a drink, you'll get it.
If you're dying for
Massive
thirst.
difference between wanting and needing something.
Yeah, yeah. Chasing that winning feeling
Absolutely.
that you needed.
Need it.
Yeah.
Even like going to the Olympics, going fast track Olympics, it got this stage where, like, even qualifying for Olympics, you know, yes, I wanted to. I wanted to win gold, I wanted to win a medal. But I needed to do those things. Not just for myself. Well, actually, solely for myself. I wanted to do it for my country, but I needed to do it for myself, because if I didn't get a medal or I didn't qualify, my funding was cut. I had no qualifications because I dedicated my life to sport. So I needed to win to keep me on money.
You went all in on boxing,
All
and
in
boxing only.
boxing,
There's
yeah,
nothing else.
Nothing else. I was solely focused. You know, people say, "Oh, but sure, such and such has a degree and he's doing well in education, he's doing well in sport. Where's the Olympic medals?" It's one or the other.
Okay. Yeah, that's a sacrifice you had to make.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And then when you got to the Olympics there, like just being in the Olympics, that seemed like a victory to you, or you get there and you go, you know what? There's more here. I need to win.
So see, for me, obviously everyone's on the Olympic Games, right? It's all my dream, but it wasn't really my dream as a kid. My dream was like to go to World Championships to see how good I am against the rest of the world, right? And I didn't realize how big the Olympics were. I didn't really watch Olympic sport, but any sport really, except football. But I remember qualifying for the Beijing Olympics. Went to Chicago and the World Championships, came fifth actually in the rankings, and everyone else failed. Everyone else failed to get across the line. I was like, I ain't going to Beijing by myself in the mix. I'm not going. Maybe not going. I hate the coaches, don't like them, because they didn't pick me to start. Said I wasn't good enough, and I wasn't qualified. Put it all wrong. I'm not going.
So what happened to the others?
So the other ones, all the favourites, everyone got beat. I was the only one who qualified.
Yeah, okay.
The first hurdle. Me and I going myself, not a chance. And a few months later, the likes of like Johnson haven't qualified. Maybe there's one more member of him, but I don't know. I might go. Then a few months after our last qualifier, I had Don Sutherland, you had Kenny Egan, you had Johnny Joyce. So we had a full team. So my teammates were there. Like, no, what? I'm a bit happier.
Yeah.
I'm relaxed. I'll go to the big games.
You knew all these men already from
Yeah, because we were on
boxing game?
the Irish team all together, so we trained together. And
Mick was in the mix there as well, was he?
no, he's only a kid. It's 2008.
Yeah, okay.
Mick
okay.
probably getting that we changed.
There's the age difference now. Yeah.
But no, but then once I got to the village, I remember getting on the minibus. The media, what's going on here? It's mental.
Yeah.
I didn't really like what athletes go through in the village. Like 10,000, the best athletes in the world. Like free food here, free food. This is mental. Oh, it was just
free food for the time you need to be most fucking disciplined.
24/7.
Free McDonald's at the
free
Olympics.
McDonald's 24/7.
What the fuck?
Unbelievable. And like,
you trying to make weight for a fucking fight?
Jeez, it was terrible. Beijing was so warm, but
yeah,
I expect you're on, train, spread it around me, but
yeah,
what an experience. But Beijing, was great. I
So
think even because you're fighting, like you're fighting on live TV. The sports sector is the biggest sector in the world.
yeah.
So you're fighting in front of a massive audience,
Mhm.
and the experience from that, it's just unbelievable. It just makes you like it,
Yeah,
it kind
yeah,
of gives you a profile, and people who you are, and people will start supporting you more.
yeah. So you were actually in that team with Egan, Sullivan, Lee, Andy Lee. There was he that time?
No, Andy Lee, he's a bit older than me, so he is.
Ah, yeah,
Yeah.
okay. And John Evan was there with you.
Jonathan Evans with me, Kenny Egan was there, Darren Sutherland was there.
Darren Sutherland, yeah.
Who else would be in that team? Jonathan Evans, I said. Jonathan
Yeah.
Joyce.
Were you one of the younger ones in the team?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I was 19.
You were looking up to these older
I
ones.
would have been looking up to like Kenny Egan.
Yeah.
Kenny Egan was the team captain. And like even there was a youth boxer on the team.
Yeah.
Kenny was in the senior team, and I would probably look up to him.
Yeah. Okay.
Because he was, in fairness, not only was he a good boxer, but he was a good person to have around.
Yeah.
A great leader.
Yeah.
He was a leader, so it was a good guy to have around.
He got he got a medal.
He had
that
silver.
year. Silver. That
Yeah.
year. Yeah. That's right.
Lost
And
to the
then-
Chinese guy.
Yeah. And Sutherland was there that year as well.
Summer was our guy. He actually lost to James DeGale from England, who he beat easily
Yeah.
3 times previous. People think, well, I think too, he was happy with his bronze, and he didn't try as much.
Yeah. Okay.
But Darren Sutherland could have goal that time. I felt he was good enough to win goal.
Yeah. Yeah. So your influences in that team would have been the likes of Egan.
Like the again, and then, yeah, definitely. But then I didn't look to anyone for like motivation or anything. You know,
Yeah.
intrinsically, like I was always motivated because going back to 2007 when I was told I wasn't good enough. Like I want to prove all these was wrong.
Who's saying this to you?
Basically, my coaches like Billy Welch and out there says like I wasn't good enough, wasn't experienced enough, which they were right. I wasn't experienced enough, but I felt it was good enough.
Mm-hmm. So being
on paper they had a point. But I say, you know what? I've won the national championships. I think every national champion should be afforded to compete for their country. That was my argument, and this is like a cent anyway. And
so
being very wrong. And from that day, in the Irish team, even me and Billy were actually friends now. Like, but we always were kind of friends. But
yeah,
I just felt I needed to prove everyone wrong. Even when no one doubted me, it's still in my head. I need to win this year. I just want to prove everyone wrong. I want to prove I'm the best.
But maybe Billy told you that because he knew what you would do with it. He was...
No, definitely not. Definitely not.
That wasn't it. No,
that wasn't it.
He actually, he meant what he said. Yeah.
And then after kind of 2010, when I won the European Championships, the Commonwealth Games, I think it was half expected of me to be like a kind of push on, be leader of the team.
Okay. So being Olympics was like a big fuck you to all these people who told you could make it. Yeah.
I had done it.
Yeah. And then, so you're at the Olympics, but then of course there's the upcoming battles and fights. So can you get lost in the hysteria over there and sort of get lost in the feeling of, you know what, I fucking made it now? And
people can. I feel, I'll be honest, not boxing, but all sports, I think they're in this bubble, like the Olympic Games. I'm an Olympian now, and they've made it.
Tick the box.
And like, I don't know what I phrase this, but I think they're scared to do well. I haven't got that drive, like I always say, the fuck you attitude.
Yeah.
Like, it's say for athletics, like obviously there's certain countries who are probably the best, like Jamaicans at sprinting and whatever, and Kenyans at running, but like, I just felt the Irish athletes didn't have a fuck you attitude. Just like, well, fuck you, I'm gonna win. Who the Evans? The way the boxers did.
Okay.
Like,
which is why you did so well.
We respected absolutely no one.
Yeah. Okay.
But I must say now, Irish sport across the board are excelling massively, and I think because, and I still argue it's because of boxing. We kind of open the doors. The rest of the sports follow through winning medals, and I look at the rowers, the sailors, even hockey. They're winning world medals.
Mm-hmm. You set the standard.
I look at the runners now as well.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
So Irish sport now, I think, is in a very very healthy place.
Mm-hmm. So on those first Olympics, as I said, being there, an achievement in itself, but then of course the battles in the ring had to commence afterwards, and then having that fuck you attitude, and there's more to be achieved. And do you leave those Olympics feeling a sense of satisfaction or a sense of disappointment?
I was extremely disappointed because at the time, and like every athlete should feel like this too. I don't care if you get a bronze or silver, you shouldn't feel happy. I wasn't happy because yes, I wasn't good enough. The guy who beat me fair and square, but it was the way the judge scored a fight. It was 15-0. Like I was really annoyed. If he had have scored fairly and it beat me by a few points, no problem. Actually, I wouldn't been happy, but I would have took it a bit well. Because again, you fast forward to the London Olympics, the same guy, the same stage, he beat me in countback. 15 was a draw, but then I went to countback.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of people thought that I won the fight. I thought it was close. Wouldn't argue him getting the decision. And boss, I wasn't happy here, but I was content. I think maybe the better man won the day. Nothing to do with it. So yes, I'm annoyed. I lost, but at least I lost fairly and lost to a better person.
Yeah.
So I have no issue losing, but
You have as
long as it's fair.
You also have the opportunity of rewatching that fight, isn't it too? And you can see where the points are
it's
scored.
very, very close, but listen.
So it's when you watch
It could have either way. I wouldn't like go. So what? I lost. Big deal.
Yeah. Okay. So, but you leave with a sense of disappointment as you return back down.
Yeah, because like I'm so close. Like if I won that fight, I know for a fact I would have won gold because the Argyle final suited my style.
Yeah.
So like, I was like a point away from the big gold basically. I don't dwell on it. Like I don't dwell on it. Like I don't even think about it really. But
you did for a period of time.
I did for a period of time, absolutely. But
to what extent then did you flip it to say, you know what, I'm letting this go, and it was an achievement.
I just moved on.
Yeah.
I just moved on. I thought it is what it is. Move on, and I'll do better next month.
Yeah.
Now go on in the Rio Olympics. I'm definitely favoured to win gold medal.
4 years later.
4 years later, because I won the World Series of boxing. So I fought for a team in Italy and fighting all around the world, and I qualified there. I finished in first place, and going in there, I was big favoured for going in. And
was that a heavy weight to carry? Was that a burden?
No, I didn't really care. I just focused on myself, but my first fight I lost. And it was a very, very close fight against a guy who I was beating up in sparring all the time. But it was because of my weight making. Like, I had made the weight in maybe a year, and I made it. But what people say, but sure, you do it all the time, Paddy. Like, but I've never went in at 8 in the morning and fought 11 in the morning. That's short spaces of time. I've never had that in my career, and I didn't know like that was going to happen until the week of the fight. I didn't know the times. Or sorry, 2 weeks before the fight.
Mm-hmm.
But that killed me. After the first 30 seconds, I was drained. The guy beat me. And I remember thinking, like, I'm glad I lost. Because if I had fought on, because it was I could have got the decision. But the next fella was a Olympian. He wasn't great, but he would have hammered me because of his style, and I was just so drained.
Okay.
So probably the blessing in this case.
Yeah.
I lost closely, then get battered.
The things that happen behind the scenes
Exactly,
that we don't see. What? Yeah.
In Rio, okay, I think I medal, which I wanted and needed, but I had to carry the flag for Ireland. I had to do the national flag, which for me was as good as the medal.
Yeah. So again, you leave there with a sense of disappointment again, or you leave with a sense of
I'll take the positives. I'll take the positives from out there because I can't carry the flag, led the team out.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
You have a bit more resilience to defeat, or a bit more resilience to these setbacks after the previous Olympics.
Exactly. And plus, again, the fight I lost, close fight, but I thought it was fair enough.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? No argument. So if I had thought I hammered a man or thought I beat a man, maybe I'd have felt a different way, but no, I was beat.
Yeah. Fair and square. Yeah.
No issues are like.
Is that across the board? So he had to do the same thing, like a 2-hour window between weigh-in.
Every boxer was staying level playing field, but I was bigger than the rest of the weight, and
you'd lose more.
I had a different weight making strides for them. Like I was terrible making weight.
Yeah. Okay.
So probably down to my own fault, like really
discipline.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
Like, and I obviously we had nutritionists on board and all, and like I did have help with a girl called Laura Manny from think he's from Tip. Maybe she's listening to this, kill me. Maybe he's not from Tip. But anyway, she worked in Sinai in Belfast, and she helped me greatly with my nutrition for the World Series.
Yeah.
But going into Rio, like, I had no help with nutrition. Terrible. And like, I resorted back to old school, like sweating, starving. You know what I mean? And that's not really good
Exhausting yourself. Yeah.
for high performance athlete,
Yeah,
Olympic
okay.
athlete. So I resorted to that there, and like, it is what it is. That's what fucked me up basically.
Okay. So then you're back to the drawing board again.
What that there, turned pro, because my funding was cut. I had nowhere avenue to go down. I didn't want to go professional.
No, you didn't.
No, it just never appealed to me. For me, it was always Olympic Games. And amateur boxing I felt was better than pro boxing. People have this idea that pro boxing is the next step. It's not whatsoever. Like, it's a totally different sport. So like horse racing, big flats and jumps, they're two different concepts. Pro boxing isn't a sport; it's a business. And for me, it didn't appeal to me. But I was sat down with people, and I said, "Listen, I'll go professional only if you give me world title shot straight away." It says, "Paddy, listen, we'll try our best, but we can't promise that. You know, we need to have maybe a few fights, maybe okay. I want within 10 fights, because in Ireland there's a lot of world champions, and I wanted to be, because I create history as an amateur, so I wanted to create history as a pro. I didn't want to be I just want to be another world champion.
Yeah.
I wanted to set my standards higher and stand out from the rest and be the fastest world champion. My manager at the time,
Be the fastest world champion.
Exactly.
Okay.
I got the world title shot in my 6th fight, WBC, Winter Park in Belfast Football Stadium. I lost, but I could take a lot more easier fights for a lot more money. But for me, history meant more than money, because seeing your 70 sitting in the bar, or 70 talking to your kids, money means nothing. You know, history is, for me, means more than money. Because money comes and goes.
What is the historic element that you hold towards that fight, that title shot?
Well, that title shot in particular, you know, if I'd won that there, I'd probably be the fastest person from the UK, Ireland or Europe, maybe, I don't even know, doing a world title. Especially the WBC title, which is the best belt, the green belt. That's what I fought for. And like, I was on the cusp of creating history. I failed, but you know what? I have no regrets, because I trained hard, everything properly for that fight. Just fell short. And like, what can you do? That's life. So I don't dwell on it. Don't look back and think, what if? Because
yeah,
there's no what ifs.
You knew you give it a fucking fair
I get
shot
everything.
anyway.
I get everything.
Yeah,
Caught a good shot, the body shot. Like, what can you do?
Yeah.
It's boxing, it's sport.
Does it crush you in the moment?
In the moment, I was devastated, yeah. Devastated. Not because I lost my chance of good history, but because I lost. You know what I mean? Didn't care about history at the time. I lost. In front of like 15,000 fans at the time.
Yeah. Home stadium.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. And then, of course, there's the whole hype behind these fights beforehand too, isn't there? And the
Exactly.
expectations
over
are
billboards
quite
and all
high.
that there.
Yeah.
And, like, I wasn't a favourite in the fight. He had just knocked out a guy who had 19 knockouts, and he knocked a fellow out. So
he had
was
19
heavily
knockouts and he knocked him out. Okay.
Yeah, 19 fights, 19 knockouts. And he knocked him out. The guy knocked him out. So I wasn't fair whatsoever. It's only a sick fight. But it was the 4th round. The first 3 rounds is winning. Which means nothing really. Like,
Yeah.
it's a 12-round fight. And I still didn't know how I was going to fight him. You know, it felt really, really, really comfortable in there. But he caught me a great shot to the body.
Okay.
And the referee counting. I was like, I know the referee. Victor Loughlin. Me, Victor, I don't know what the fuck you're counting for. I can't get up. And the bell went, like, am I saved by the bell? Because I still can't fight off. Not bad.
They do damage?
Oh, big time. Like, I mean, when this was different. Because I just thought at the same time, at the full impact.
Ah, okay. You're wide open.
And like, after I was fight, watching in front of me after, and like, I looked, there's a fella called Rocky feeling. I said to him, like, Rocky, I don't feel right here. He goes, what? You know, I feel the claps. And he got doctor over me, you okay? Me, yeah. No, I don't feel right, you know. I feel like dizzy and all. He goes, yeah, me. And I got But my race, 'cause I'm a hypochondriac. Everybody wait there, me, okay. Got a fucking stretcher. I was on the stretcher, flying down through the football pitch, and my wife and her mate was made of the toilet. And people said, she remember saying to me, Paddy, I just remember people saying, some of the stretcher for a move. I was like, oh, geez, who did? She looked in the bed, it was me. She just shit herself. I remember saying, there's a boxer called Billy Joe Saunders.
Yeah.
I remember him staring at me, like, he stopped staring at me and his face on white. Like, fuck me, man, I'm just like bad here. If he's shit himself, but then, but the hospital done blood tests on me, they said, like, my blood was, like, deficient or really, really low and over there. Like,
Yeah.
how I was expected to fight with whatever was in me, like,
So this was
this is like an art to fight.
no after the fight.
Yeah, like,
Okay.
how you can get the energy to walk and remain fight. I couldn't believe for what they've tested me for. But to be honest, I felt great.
Was this because of the shot that you took, or is this
No, it's because
completely
obviously,
separate?
I think all boxers have it. So basically, if you're making weight to starve yourself or like
Yeah.
eating healthy and losing weight, your body's not built up properly.
Yeah.
No,
Okay.
you're still always gonna be maybe a slight bit dehydrated, whatever.
You having beers then after the fight?
No, I wasn't. I wasn't nothing.
Okay.
But like that don't affect me with fight because I felt great. Like,
Yeah,
but obviously,
okay.
I'm sure every boxer feels the same.
Yeah. Okay.
If they're tested the same outcome, but the hospital like Jesus, what's going on
You're
here?
in bad old shape, were you?
But then a few hours later at home, it didn't hurt. It's different,
Back training again for the next fight.
of course.
And then, but you did win a European Championship.
Oh, so my third fight, I won the WBO European belt, against a guy who actually fought for world title who should have won. Tough fight, very tough 10-round fight. Then on my fifth fight, I fought for the Intercontinental title,
Yeah. Okay.
and the guy who actually beat the world champion who beat me.
All right. Okay.
So it's mad how it works out. So I beat the fella, actually stopped him, and the fella who he beat me for the world title. It's mad how boxing works.
Yeah.
But sure, that's the way it goes.
How where's your head at when you're before you go into that world championship fight, knowing what you know in terms of okay, a fella that I beat.
I didn't care because different styles.
Yeah.
Like,
Even knowing that this fella that you were going to fight has knocked out a fella that's had 19 knockouts, and that you're not going in there as a favorite. Does this play?
not really. Because I always think, 'cause I watch a lot of pro boxing. And I think some are very, very slow and very, very poor, but the good power. Like, I know I'm better brain-wise than them, I'm better skill-wise, and I'm better getting into trouble. So I don't really care how many knockouts he has. It doesn't bother me. Like,
Yeah.
I know if I box to the best of my ability, I could give my own trouble. So I didn't really care. Like,
Yeah. Okay. And then outside of all of this is happening, like we're talking a lot about the boxing because it's a huge part of your life for many years. What's life like outside of boxing when you've just come back from the Olympic Games, you won a medal, you've had a claim to fame,
yeah,
and you're well known in the country and receiving a lot of attention. And I met you in Coppers one night along with Mick Conlon. I'll tell Mick this as well on the podcast. And I think Mick was actually after a fight in Dublin, and you were along with him. I think you were just along for the crack or whatever. So after you've put in so much training and committed so hard to succeed, and you've been to the Olympics, is it an incredible sense of relief then to come back home and just fucking relax for a while and just have a few beers and chill out? And how do you manage that? And then where you go, okay, I need to park this now to get back to training, get back to the work.
It's great, why? Because see, after like not just Olympics, but any championships, if you do well, like when you're painted or whatever, Commonwealth Games, like it's that relief of all the hard work's paid off.
Yeah.
And like for the Olympic Games itself, you come home and like you're not only doing it for yourself, you're doing it for your country. And you want your country to be proud of you. You want to put your country on the map. And after Beijing, and we're coming home, Because again, I didn't know really how big the Olympics were. Like, come through Dublin, bus loads of people, like, you're doing a tour around Dublin. Like, the crowds, like, the marathon, the crowds were out, it was crazy.
Yeah.
I think this is mad. Like, you made all these people proud, and Belfast people start recognise you more and all, and like, you become like a mini celebrity. Like, everyone knows you. It's surreal.
Did you find that hard to manage? Did it sort of
No, and still to this day, people know me. I don't care. I'm just a normal person from North Belfast.
Yeah.
Obviously, people wish you well and recognize you for what you've done, which is good. But I don't walk around thinking I am someone, or I don't feel entitled or whatnot, because some people can't do it. Like, I've noticed.
Yeah, obviously you see this, and
you see
even the other athletes
that too big for their boots. Like, why? You know what I mean? But it is a great feeling that for yourself winning and winning for yourself, but equally, what I felt was important was winning for your country and make your country proud of you. That for me, it was massive.
Yeah,
definitely.
I know you've had an impact on that.
Definitely.
Yeah.
But obviously we're talking about here like Olympic Games and boxing, right? So like most sports at the highest level, it's very, very competitive. It's like an adrenaline rush. You know, it's a fast paced sport. Like all sports is. So when I had loads of downtime, and like, I need something to fill that gap. You know, I need something to kind of fill that gap, you know, to get my blood flowing. And then I start gambling, and like, I was on good money, like, for grants, and like, I ever went to bookies, all with a few people on the team, like, during training because I was bored. Like, thinking, I don't even care about winning. I just love the thrill of like, while he told winning, like, if I lose.
The adrenaline, yeah.
The adrenaline rush. Just chasing that buzz. But then, before you know it, you don't realise it, out of hand it gets. And then came along with fucking online gambling. Like, I always went like, you could, like, a few thousand sometimes. Like, for me, it was just numbers. My phone, I didn't care, it's just numbers, gamble away. But like, looking back, like, fuck me, what an it like. Like, online gambling, it shouldn't be illegal, obviously, because people know, it's like drink, people can control themselves, some people can't. Shit one, that's the way it is. Yes, there should be more education around, especially around school kids, but, you know, for me, online gamble is the fucking devil, because it's so accessible, and again, it's just numbers on your phone. Now, if I were in the bookies, I'm on £1,000 cash, I would be like, fuck, I'm not park me out there.
Yeah.
But on your phone, it's like numbers.
You can't physically touch it and see it and feel it. Yeah.
And like, there's times I lost her, and I'm like, fuck me. I was feeling so down, like, and like, not down, not even down. I was never depressed or down, right?
Yeah.
But I was fucking angry.
Yeah.
How stupid it was. And like, fuck's sake. I'm training for 100% again, because training for me clears everything in my mind. But after, I'm like, fuck's sake, like, what am I going to do here? Like, who am I? There's actually one time I was going to reach out to Kenny Egan because he had like Gamblers Anonymous thing, or a Gamblers that was drinking. Addiction,
Yeah.
I don't know, I can't remember those anyway.
All comes under the same umbrella.
Exactly,
anyway.
yeah. But I reckon I still would have been gambling, right? If my wife didn't find out about it. Like, I was hiding it and all, and she confronted me, and like, fuck, her, it could affect my family life and all, like, fuck's sake, I felt bad. So I stopped for a while, and I done it again. And she cut me, gave me, fuck, Dad, you can't do that ultimatum here, like. And then her really, obviously I stopped there, dead, right? But her really stopped gambling was a girl called Antoinette McKeown, who is still a CEO of Sport and I. A very good friend of mine. She brought me to an event, and I can't even remember agreeing to this. She said, I'll probably go up and do a few words talking. Like, what? What am I going to talk about? I had to talk about gambling, about me being addicted to gambling out there, and then next time, is it all the papers and all? It's me. Fuck. This is a big impact. I didn't want to expect this here. Like, everyone was on me. A few news outlets, radio stations were on me about speaking about this problem.
That you were still in the midst of, like, you hadn't
I
Park
was
the gambling.
I was nearly off it, like
yeah.
it was, and see if not they on, I wouldn't even go into bookies because I was well known, right?
Yeah.
And in my head, in this day, I feel like, say if I am bookies, I think in my head some fellas goes, oh, Paddy, look at him, I got him, he's got one problem. No, pity me. I got that fella's problem over. I couldn't even walk into bookies thinking that someone was thinking about me, or even the people behind the counter.
But then again, you don't have to go to the bookies when it's online, though. So there's that side of it.
I wouldn't. The story, another reason why I would pay someone at the bank, look at my statements, like, it's fast still gambling. You can't bother telling me he's not gambling. So on your bank statements,
Yeah.
so I couldn't do it.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's
Yeah.
a saver. I forget me off gambling. People's, usually I don't care what anyone thinks, but
Yeah.
that there for me.
It's a sense of humiliation, is it?
Yeah, for me, it's humiliating.
Yeah.
Somewhat embarrassing.
It's also something that's not being widely spoken about, and I believe it's a massive.
I reckon
massive
online
problem.
gambling for me is as bad as vaping at the minute. Take away drugs, vaping and online gambling are two serious
Epidemics.
epidemics.
Mm.
You could argue it's a pandemic, but in Ireland at the minute,
Mm.
I can only speak for Ireland, but it's a serious problem. Like schools need to deal with it more.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Have you had people reach out to you since you've opened up about this?
Not really. There has been a few people, like maybe two, years ago. So that's why I can't really remember. But like the gambling,
People feel a lot of shame around it too, obviously, so they
it's
don't.
nuts. Because if it's like any addiction, like people are ashamed and embarrassed to talk about it. I was too, I was too. But
Which is why you kept it secret, you know.
Exactly.
And you can keep it on your phone, which is
see
hidden
what's
as well.
out there.
Yeah.
See the sense of leave you have.
Yeah.
Honestly, it just goes away.
I know all too well, man. Yeah, I had a porn addiction, and that was exposed as well to the general public. And in hindsight, there's an incredible sense of relief to say, look, oh fuck, I've nothing to hide anymore.
Yeah.
Like, the truth is out there, and you know what? I'm going to fucking embrace it now. I'm going to take this and help others who are going through similar situations,
Yeah.
which is, you know, a situation you find yourself in when you're speaking about it, and even on this podcast today, like you're owning it, and this is landing with somebody who's listening who has a similar issue like this. you
Yeah.
know, definitely, because as I said, it's not spoken about because there's so much shame and
Exactly. And like, what do you mean? I can't sit here and say, oh, what are you to be ashamed of? Listen,
yeah, it goes. It's
everyone has
deep.
different feelings.
Mm.
You know what I mean? I'm not going to sit here and say, you should feel this way, you should feel that way. Listen, but I will say, what I know for a fact is, once you share a problem,
Yeah.
that's not a way, but it's half. And there's ways you can deal with it to get rid
The
of it.
shame dissolves as well.
Dissolves,
Yeah,
exactly.
which is a huge barrier to
Like, you'd
the
be
healing
surprised.
process.
Like, you're talking about your porn addiction, right? You probably think people look at me like him, fucking. But then, once it's out there, people realize, no, actually, it's a problem he has, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
People will help you, like, and like.
Well, if you own it, nobody can take it from you and use it against you. You know, you say, yeah, this is an issue that I have,
Exactly.
and I own it.
Exactly.
You know? So they can't take that then. You know,
Like, you imagine someone saying, oh, yeah, you have a porn addiction. I know, so what?
yeah, exactly.
What else you gonna say?
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah. Because if you become
So-
defensive about it, you're trying to protect yourself from the shame you feel.
See me
around
being
that
a slave
problem.
by mates. Never ever be defensive, because see me you are. That's when the case going to go on. Just not
Yeah,
agree
yeah.
with them
Yeah.
and shut them up.
Yeah. If you're getting pissed off about it, you're onto something.
Exactly.
that
You're off the demons.
yeah, exactly.
Reverse psychology.
Yeah, you know, man. Yeah.
Do it all the time.
Stepping into something here now, yeah. But then how do you replace that adrenaline rush then? How do you replace that buzz? Like, is like, because it almost seems as though it's being transferred from the boxing or to the victories in the boxing to then
Yeah.
the victories in the bookies or the gambling. And then, okay, I've stopped that now. Now where's it going? Or where do I channel it? Or how do I channel it to
Yeah,
something
no,
healthy?
actually, you know, I'd be lying if I told you something, like, but I stopped it, and I don't know what else I've done to replace that there. But now, my way pizzas, it's called me a cult. I went to CrossFit, right? And like, for me, it's just, look at someone there who's like overweight, 60 years old. This if I beat them, I am ecstatic. I don't care if they're on a wheelchair. If I beat them, I just think, yes, I beat them.
Yeah.
I am so competitive,
Yeah.
and that gets my blood flowing. And like, I've done CrossFit competitions, I've done high rocks competitions, and like, see for your mental health and well being.
Mm.
Like, I have no problem with my well being or mental health. I'm honest, I don't. But I feel if people did, they should do some form of training, especially high intensity, because it takes your mind off everything.
Yeah.
Like something like that, heavy annoyed sort of stuff. See, I go training, I feel like a new person. Don't think about nothing but that training. And not only does it clear my head, but it's make me a healthier person too and fitter.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so I couldn't recommend some form of training, even walking.
Yeah.
Enough.
If you start from there, yeah. But
Absolutely.
when you're doing that high intensity training, I've done CrossFit as well for a few years, and like as you said, you're not thinking of anything. You're thinking of fucking staying alive. You're thinking of, can I fucking finish this fucking
workout?
John
beside me here.
Yeah, exactly. So, so you're getting out of your head, which is where most of us are fucking stuck most of the time. And in our heads is the thoughts and the shame and the problems and the pain. But then, as I said, it's channeling it towards something then that gets you out of your head, where you're not thinking about yourself in that situation. You're thinking about getting across the line on that CrossFit competition, or again beating the man next to you, or even, as I said, completing that run from point A to point B. You know, it's a mission, it's a purpose, which is what I feel a lot of men need.
See, only outdoor, I found, especially, I can only talk about CrossFit, and even box clubs too, right? So, like, you're joining these gyms. So if you go to like a public gym, you're training by yourself, right? And you're like, probably doing yourself half-horsed. But yes, like these small group parallel training classes are more expensive. CrossFit's more expensive. But listen, you're paying for like one-to-one stuff, right? Which for me is far better. It's money well spent. And you're training alongside people who maybe have the same goals as you, so on the same path as you, and you're able to talk.
Yeah, that sense of community.
The same stuff, the sense of community. It's far better.
Which is being lost.
Especially if you find it difficult to make friends.
Yeah.
Go to train.
Mm-hmm.
And that small group part of the training kind of frame, and like it will change your life.
You've answered that question in terms of how you've channeled that adrenaline, that buzz. Because when you go into CrossFit, you're competing every single day. It's not a matter of just CrossFit competitions. You're competing with every workout that you do every single day.
I have a leaderboard on my phone, like for my gym. Okay, I do cheat sometimes, but it doesn't matter.
Oh no, it's out now. It's
as long as you win,
yeah.
Win at all costs.
The guys in the CrossFit gym are listening now, man.
Oh, they know anyway. I've got an award treating as well.
Deadly. All right, there you go. Yeah. You fucking own that too, man. Yeah.
I'll win everything.
And then, so then again, this is all like sports related in terms of boxing, high rocks, CrossFit. What's life now like outside of that in terms of family, relationship, and you know, how do you find a balance between all of this? How do you find a balance between perhaps the seeking of adrenaline and the buzz, and then the balance of just being with family and friends, and you know, being in that peaceful scenario?
To be honest, I never really overthink stuff. Like, so I have 2 kids and a wife, obviously, but family time, you know, I work a lot. Like, whether it be, I'd actually done, so I work for Ultra Boxing. I'm a club development officer, which I kind of deal with kind of governance and help clubs all over in Ulster, among different stuff, and like run programs for like women's programs, school programs. And in my spare time, I do Uber, because for me, Uber is unbelievable. You meet people from all over the world, right? And like, it keeps you up the drink the weekends. Doesn't work all the time, but listen, if you're bored the weekends, you may think, I'm gonna have a pint.
Yeah.
Nah, I'll do Uber instead. Keep me healthier. Keep me off the drink. Save myself a fortune while making money.
Yeah.
On the side of that door, I have a thing called Paddy Barnes. So I'm training a number of businesses, private gyms, and a few one-to-ones.
Yeah. Paddy Barnes is training one-to-one with you for boxing specific.
So there's people who are like actual boxers, so I train them like skill specific.
Okay.
And the rest of them
amateur.
Amateur. Yeah. And the rest would be just fitness, basically.
Yeah, cool.
But I really enjoy it there.
It's time to give back now.
Especially now, because I've been training people who are like on the cusp of going to jail.
Okay.
And I had a guy there training for ages, and he was so much trouble. And I took him for a session before, and he lasted 30 seconds, and he was sick everywhere. See now, you train 10 rounds, not out of breath. His fitness, his come on tenfold. Heavier persons put on more weight. He hasn't been in trouble since.
Has he had any fights yet?
No, he doesn't want to fight. Doesn't want to fight. Not going to be a fighter.
Just
no.
train.
Just train.
Yeah, class.
Yeah, he has. He's in a routine now.
Yeah. He's fighting off his demons.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah.
There's a few people out there, but I'm hopeful now. I'm trying to drop some of with the Department of Justice, see if I can actually bring in more people who are on the cusps of like maybe getting a prison sentence. But sometimes prison sentences aren't for everyone. Like, it does. Sometimes they do deserve sentences, but like as a society, what do they get out of that? They're like, they're training. Maybe that's all they need, an opportunity to train or do something.
Yeah.
Hopefully that.
Instead of throwing them in a cell,
exactly. Hopefully I'm allowed to kind of help them that way. If it doesn't work, then throw them in the jail.
Yeah.
What's the worst can happen?
Yeah.
All right.
How do you see you're in the development?
Yeah.
With boxing at the moment, how do you see it at this period of time?
My own perspective.
Your own perspective in terms of sport, boxing, young people. You know, you talk.
Yeah.
We talked earlier about you going through 12 defeats to finally want to fight. I mean, I believe in the day and age we're living in today, like 1 or 2 defeats and they're thrown in the fucking towel and they're giving up. So how do you see the moment in terms of young people, development, sport in general? Do you feel that they're being pulled away from it into other distractions like screens or other areas that are perhaps unhealthy? Or how do you see it?
You can't really get away with the big elephant in the room where we're talking about screens are like, social media, iPads, iPhones, like Androids, whatever. Like, people are constantly on their phones. Listen, nowadays I'm the same myself. I'm guilty of myself, but I think now more than ever there's more opportunities than there ever has been for sports, and that's why myself putting boxing in the school. Now, they don't need to box. I don't care if there's no box ever again, but see, being given the opportunity to try boxing out, then they think, why I like boxing? I might join a club. Don't need to fight. Just join a club and train. And even people in that school, like, given the opportunity to train. Like, I think, instead of sitting on their phones, they're training.
Yeah.
But in terms of myself, yes, I'm a development officer at the minute. I love the job, but I actually applied to be the high performance director of Irish Boxing. I got an interview. I didn't get the job. But for me, that's the job I aspire to. That's the job I will.
That's your next mission?
That's my next mission.
What's that involved exactly? What's pulling you that direction?
Because I've lived a life for the last 25 years of high performance sport.
Here's your job interview now, Paddy. Yeah. Record this and send it over to
I
them.
know what it entails, like, and I know like how I know where it's lacking. I know what can be done better to get more out of our athletes.
Okay. Boxing specific.
Boxing specific, yeah. And I feel
what is lacking?
For me, and I don't know how it is now at the minute because I'm not in that high performance environment, but from my personal experience and even watching people now, it's the proper use of service providers. I think they should be all more entwined and working together more collaboratively. I don't feel that's happening. Where the trainers should be working with like the S&D coaches, profiling certain boxers and even psychology. I feel they're all working in their own wee spaces and they can meet everyone. And I don't even think boxing coaches should be any more in S&C because it's not their forte.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? It's like, what's a box coach know really about S&C? Yes, general stuff, old school stuff, but leave it to the professionals.
Yeah, some more delegation towards like this is nutrition is your area. You focus on that, and then S&C is over here, and then the boxing is whatever.
Exactly,
skill
and
specific.
it's the coaches that are to think like, no, I need this boxer to be more powerful, faster, and then the S&C coaches say, leave it with me.
Yeah,
and then the trainer can say, Okay, leave it with me too. Let's put a plan together because I'll tell you what foods to eat, and because you're going to tell me what kind of trainer I'm going to do and how I'm going to train, so I'm able to fuel them properly.
Yeah, okay.
That's happening, but that's the argument that happens around, I don't know, around all sports.
Yeah. Most likely funding related, is it?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so.
Something more play.
Yeah, just
You're going to fucking sort it out now, Paddy.
just confidence.
Mm.
You know, people like it's for the winning medals. They're doing well.
Yeah, okay.
Doing well is not good enough. We want to be the best and becoming the best. Mediocrity is shit.
Mm. Yeah, again, not just getting to the Olympics is not enough.
Olympics.
Yeah.
See now, because we're qualifying, we're doing so well. Like, yes, getting Olympics is an amazing achievement. Still isn't, always will be, but now it's not that big thing that it used to be.
Yeah.
You know, winning a medal like we're winning so much. Winning a medal now is something to show off about not being an Olympian.
Mm-hmm.
Or not
Especially for boxing.
Exactly.
Yeah, because you've
But
set the
that
standard.
And I think the way from qualifying in the beginning, it's extremely hard and it's a made achievement, but if you want to be called great, you need to win a medal.
So then if there's somebody listening to this who has suffered several defeats, and I do have a couple of people in mind, I do know a couple of boxers actually as well, what would you say to them? You know, from a man like yourself who's been through many defeats but continued to get up, show up, put the work in again, go again. So not even boxing specific, but somebody maybe feels like they're being defeated by life or that they're failing all the time. It could be in any area. What would your message be to someone like this based on your own experience?
I would say, especially in sport, although it's sport, I would just say be honest with yourself because, you know, you lost the fight, you lost the match, you lost the race. Why? How? Have you getting better time for the track? Have you been doing well in sparring? You know, if the person who beat you is faster in the track, you know, well then, be real. You're never going to beat them. Probably never going to beat them. Just the way it is. It's life, it's sport. You can't be the fastest, the best, everything. So just be honest with yourself. Like, take small wins and small, like, goals away from, like, don't think about competing against other people. Compete against yourself, especially in the track. Compete against the clock. Compete against your fellow in the next lane.
Mm-hmm.
In boxing, sometimes people are better than you. And, like, you just need to be open and honest with yourself. Like, you know what? Not shit, but I'm just not as good as him. And that's a sport. That's just the way it is.
But then to identify something that he has that you can potentially work on in your own game.
Exactly. Isn't you can always improve. Like, see, boxing, all sports, you know, there's always room for improvement, right? Always. So just dedicate yourself more. Like, believe in yourself. If you don't believe in yourself, no one's going to believe in you. And it's going to show. You know, most boxers are nervous because, one, they're scared to lose, but a lot of them I feel are, say, I'm freaking tired. You're just on a 12-week camper. How are you going to be tired? And if you are tired, then you have no self-belief or you haven't trained hard enough.
As in you're going to get tired in the ring in a fight.
Like, how are you?
That you're going to burn out somehow and you're going to get beat.
Exactly. I remember I was never tired as an amateur. I trained so hard. Like, it was never in my mind. It should never be in anybody's mind. It's eliminate, in training, eliminate all the things that you can in terms of training, nutrition, S&C, because they're eliminated. What else is there to worry about?
Yeah, so that those barriers don't appear in the ring.
See, a
on the
massive
day.
problem. Like, I've heard it before somewhere. I can't remember where it was. A big problem, right, is only about 10 small problems. So you pick them off, that's all gone. Same as sport. You could pop problem with your S&C, your nutrition, your training, your psychology. Do better at all these small bubbles.
Mm-hmm.
And you can be the best athlete that you can be. You may not be the best ever or the greatest, but at least you'll be the best you can be.
Yeah.
And that's all you can ask for.
You have no control over the other
Because
athlete anyway.
Exactly, because then you're being real and honest yourself.
Yeah.
You're not going to be an Olympic champion, but yes, you may still be an Olympian,
Mm-hmm.
which if that's your aim, that's your goal, and that's who you believe you can be, then who's stopping you but yourself?
Is there anything you would have done differently?
No.
No.
Like, I could argue all day that I should have listen more nutrition or get a better nutritionist or done more S&C, got stronger. But listen, I didn't. And so what? I done what I done and I have no regrets whatsoever. Even for gambling, it's the life experience. Would I go back in time and like not gamble? No. I won't be the same person at the end of the day.
Yeah, you had to learn something from that in order
Exactly.
to become better.
Like all the stuff I've done wrong in my life or all the fuck ups, like, so they're in the past.
Mhm.
Like, don't really cry about them now.
Nothing lingers.
Nothing lingers because listen, everyone fucks up in life. Everyone, no matter who they are, or how successful they are, how good they are. That's life. Life's a massive journey. It's a great journey. Sometimes it's very, very hard, but there's people that will help you if you want.
Yeah. There's the mic drop. Paddy fucking loves this conversation, man.
Exactly. Hopefully people understand me because I do speak fast. I aim to speak slowly, but sometimes I get excited.
It's all good, man.
Because of crap speed.
You can slow down the speed on Spotify, I know, like, you know. So,
oh, can you?
Yeah.
Well, good luck with that.
Put it in slow-mo and you're still talking fast. Yeah. All good. No, well, I understood you. So if I understood
Great.
you, I'm sure they did. And some great messages here, man, and great conversations. Thank you so much.
No problem.
And for anyone who wants to reach out to you or follow your journey or potentially work with you in any capacity, where is the best place to get you at?
Instagram. I'm Instagram all the time, scrolling through crap. So send me a I'll probably see you.
You'll always find them there.
Yeah, exactly.
Looking for the next CrossFit competition or a high rocks competition.
I'm a high rocker now.
High roxer.
But,
You're a high
yeah.
roxer. All right, that's the thing now, is it? High roxer. Yeah.
High rock. Well, at least me.
Perfect, buddy. Cheers, next victory. Talk soon, man.
Thank you.